Hey everybody!
Hello, and welcome to the Blown Away channel. We have got some new things to talk to you about, and in particularly, we're going to talk about our journey down Long Island Sound. And babe, we had no idea what to expect. Originally, the way we got up there is because we wanted to go to New York City. If you hadn't seen that, you got to check that out. But the next thing to do, I mean, you've got to go up the East River and then you got to go to Long Island Sound, right?
Exactly. Long Island Sound is fabulous, but then there's also so many great places to go from there, like the Thimble Islands, Newport, Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, Block Island. Yeah, so
I mean, it's a playground up there. I had no idea. And just like navigating New York City and the harbor, it was easy. One of the reasons why it was so easy is because there was no wind. When you motor in swimming pool-like conditions, it's actually very relaxing.
It was, and we had a pretty set schedule to move because we had to get back to Chesapeake to pull out, so we had to move fairly quickly. So let's first just talk about Long Island Sound.
Yes.
And why we enjoyed sailing or motoring in the Sound for, it was about a month, I guess, we were there.
Yeah.
And I think one of the number one reasons is literally every port we had friends to see. So that was really fun and made just wherever we landed that much more interesting. But also the harbors are very protected. There's incredible history in each of the towns, which if you haven't been to these 6 towns that we're going to talk about, we would highly recommend you going.
A lot of these towns are only accessible by boat, so it makes it natural to cruise to them.
Yes.
And babe, that's your
old
neck of the
stomping
woods.
ground.
I mean, this is a New York City girl right here.
Yeah, and so many of these places I hadn't been to in probably 30 years. So it was fun being able to go back. I think also the proximity of all of these towns to the Long Island Railroad. So there are just great things about sailing on the Sound. So we're going to talk about 6 particular ports of call, and it's the ports that we went to: Port Washington, Oyster Bay, Huntington, Port Jefferson, Sag Harbor, and Montauk. And we're going to talk about them and rate them in 3 areas. One is things to do, like walkability, the access to New York City, the cuteness of the town, restaurants, etc. The second category is cruiser friendliness. Did they offer free water, free pump out? Was there a place to refuel? Did they have places to anchor, or were there only mooring balls? Was there a free public dinghy dock? Was there provisioning nearby and a chandlery? So those are the things we're going to talk about in the cruiser friendliness. And then the last one was hang time. Would you want to spend more than a day in that particular town?
People that have been following and subscribed to our channel and that are patrons, by the way, now's a great time to put the plug in, right, babe?
Yeah, thank you, patrons, for all of your generosity, your support, your encouragement. We love you guys.
And we also love our subscribers, and we appreciate how you've helped us grow over the last few months. You're why we do it. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, share it to other people. We really appreciate that, and we want to hear your comments.
So we're going to start with Port Washington, which is the perfect landing pad from New York City. And there are a number of reasons for that. One is that it is a super cruiser friendly location.
That's what people really want to hear about. So we're going to start off with that one. You're right, it is.
Yeah, free pump out, easy access to fuel, marinas if you want to be in a marina. There was free water at the dock, free dinghy dock.
All right, we're doing it, babe.
We are filling up with water. Brown has done a great job with getting us in here perfectly, literally textbook. You rock that, honey. The town of Port Washington gives you options for free water and free pump out of your black water tank because you can't dump anything in the Long Island Sound. You can't discharge, so you've got to be able to pump it out. And you can't really make water here because the water toxicity is too high. So we are filling up today our 3 tanks. We've got 2 100-gallon and a 50-gallon. And we are filling them up. Thank you, town of Port Washington, for the free water. It's really nice. Most places charge, I think it's not a huge amount. Marinas charge about 15 cents a gallon, which isn't too bad. they offered so many things for cruisers. A grocery store that was really close by, a chandlery that was really close by. You could dinghy off to both of those. A very strong cruiser community. The town even offered, you could stay one night for free on a mooring ball, and then the next night they would start charging you. But with that mooring ball, there was valet service and a lot of things included. So it was great. So given the cruiser friendliness, we would rate this a 10 out of 10, right?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. In terms of things to do, we would rate it a little bit less. We gave it a 6 out of 10. And the reason is the town is pretty small.
Yeah.
It's not really that scenic. There are great restaurants. We ate at one of them.
It's not a destination location.
No, it is the perfect place to get on the Long Island Railroad and get into New York City if you want to.
Which we did. We had a meeting in New York City, and that worked out really well.
Yeah, so that is great, and another thing that makes it so appealing to be there.
We walked to the train from the port.
And in terms of hang time, it's a place that you go to get things done, and then you move on, right? So we gave it a 3 out of 10 for that rating.
It's kind of a staging ground to spring off from. So 1 night or 2 nights there?
We spent a few nights there, but I would say you could, if you spent 2 nights there, you would be primo to move on.
Because there's plenty of other stuff to see, and let's get on to the next one.
Well, before we get on to the next one, we had one of our most harrowing cruising experiences yet.
Oh, we almost sunk our boat.
Got a bit of a storm system moving in here. 30 mile an hour gusts so far. And lots of boats dragging. The boat behind us is off and running. Whole mess of boats are dragging right now. This boat in front of us is really struggling to stay.
He's all right. He's got room to drag back there.
Man, this guy is totally dragging.
He's past us, right?
We were actually very fortunate not to get hit.
First thing, when these winds kick up and it gets really gnarly, engines on. What happened was you could see this boat coming at an angle, and there were broadside
to the wind.
There were people on it. It was out of control. It had an undersized anchor, broadside in the wind. It's coming at us, and right before it got to us, we floored both engines, and literally where we were was where the boat passed over. So that really helped us.
Hey, this is just crazy. Tell me if you need me to do anything.
Hey,
Just watch. Can you see the guys in front, or do you need me to watch them?
I'm watching him.
Okay. No, buddy. Come on.
I don't know what he's doing.
At this time, are you currently in distress?
We've had gusts up to 47 knots. Brown's at the helm. He's got the engines going. He's in forward a little bit, just to take some pressure off the chain. I think the worst is behind us at this point. After a freaky storm, I guess you come to expect a freaky sunset. And now we're headed into Port Washington to pick up Peggy and Leo and their 3 kids. Yeah! We loved our time with the Chen family and showing them our life on the water. But like all of our visits, it ended way too quickly, and then it was time to leave Port Washington. But our overall rating for Port Washington, minus the storm, was 6 out of 10. All right, moving on to Oyster Bay, and
Oyster Bay? Oh, I love oysters.
we went to Oyster Bay in a hurry because we were being chased by Hurricane Elsa. And
That's true.
We had just gone through that horrible storm in Port Washington, and we thought, oh, now we have to face a hurricane, which thankfully was downgraded, I think, to a tropical storm. Oyster Bay has almost a full 360-degree protection in the cove, and that is just incredible.
And it was huge, the cove.
Yeah.
And they had that mud. I mean, it's not good when you're pulling up your anchor.
Oh.
But boy, you get your anchor stuck in that.
You're not going anywhere.
Not going anywhere.
So in terms of cruiser friendliness, we rated this an 8 out of 10 because they did have a dinghy dock. They had a big grocery store, although it wasn't very close. You probably would have needed a car or a bike to get there. They did have free water and pump out, great holding and lots of space, and they didn't clog up all the space for anchoring with mooring balls. And as we had also talked about before, 360-degree protection and super, super muddy bottom, so we were able to really stick well.
And a big shout out to Tommy P for being our host there. It was killer. Tom, this video is over 5 minutes. I don't know if you're going to watch it, but maybe if you're featuring it, you will. And he put on the dog. He showed us the town and took us out to that restaurant that was
Teddy Roosevelt's
office.
Mm-hmm.
It was killer.
It was fantastic.
And he was also our tour guide.
He was very, very generous. Thank you, Tommy.
And then
P.
those
We love
Italian ice that last night, man, that was over the top.
But the town is really, really cute. It's super small. It's got lots of great restaurants. It is really scenic. It has the Long Island Railroad access as well. And bonus is that Billy Joel has a motorcycle shop in the middle of town, and you often will get to see Billy Joel.
Ran the presidency
Wow.
6 months out of the year. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And if I'm not mistaken, the book The Great Gatsby was written not about Newport, but it was written about Oyster Bay.
Yeah.
The mansions there. I had no idea. That's another great thing about cruising is you just learn so much about places that you didn't have a clue about, and this is no exception.
So for our hang time rating, we loved Oyster Bay and would love to spend more time there and just hang out more than a day, more than a couple of days, and we gave it a 7 out of 10. And our overall rating for Oyster Bay was an 8 out of 10. So a place that you definitely want to stop in and visit.
And let's say also that could have been skewed a little bit because of our wonderful host, Tommy P., who's from there. And if we had to adjust the P factor, we'll call it, that might go to a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, there's just so much to do there, so
there is.
For sure. Well, from there we moved on to Huntington, and really the only reason we stopped in Huntington actually was to see our friends, the Millers. If we didn't go see the Millers, we would not have stopped in Huntington.
I've never had a lobster.
The first
Oh, look at the way the bun is toasted with the bread. I mean, they know what they're doing there.
Wow.
And it smells incredible.
And you have the hot one, right?
Oh, no. I like it hot.
Amazing.
Big shout out to you guys. We had a great time, and that baby is so cute. We got to meet him and snuggle him.
Yeah, little Landon. We loved our time with the Millers and getting to see you all. Thank
And
you.
your hospitality, that restaurant was so good.
Yes.
It was killer.
And Paul and Donna for coming down 2 hours to meet us. That was amazing. Huntington, in terms of cruiser friendliness, we found it to be quite unfriendly, actually. We went in there hoping to anchor, and every square inch was covered with mooring balls.
It was not our cup of tea because there weren't places to anchor for free and just be who we are.
There was a place to anchor for free, but it was more than 2 nautical miles outside of the town, which to have to dinghy in and out if you want to have dinner and it's dark just it's not going to work. We also want to give a shout out to Huntington Yacht Club. We took a mooring ball there. It was $55 for the night, but they had a gorgeous pool. They had a restaurant, facilities, free water, fuel, valet service to and from the boat. They were really lovely, and it turned out to be a perfect evening because the Millers were able to come onto the boat, and then we were able to go out to dinner with them and not worry about it. So in terms of cruiser friendliness, we rated this Huntington as a 3 out of 10.
Ooh, nothing to do with you guys, nothing to do with the Millers.
Not at all. For the Millers, 11 out of 10.
11 out of 10.
For things to do in Huntington, there's not really a huge amount to do. We gave it a 4 out of 10, but remember, our whole purpose in being there was to visit with the Millers.
And to be fair, we never took enough time to explore like
we definitely didn't walk around. We were on a schedule and we needed to move on.
Absolutely.
And in terms of hang time, we said a 2 out of 10 because it's just the yacht club is just not our gig.
Yeah, it's
and overall rating for Huntington, Unless you're gonna see really good friends, we gave it a 3 out of 10.
Miller's, once again, 11 out of 10. I love it. Well, with a baby, 12 out of 10.
That's right, Landon. Maybe 20 out of 10.
That baby makes you all look good.
After we left Huntington, we moved on to Port Jeff. We actually didn't have a very good experience as a cruiser there, and we rated it a 2 out of 10 for a number of reasons. The first was there was no public dinghy dock, and they would charge you for leaving your dinghy. You could put your dinghy on sand, on a beach, but it wasn't the best place to be able to leave it. And we tied up our dinghy, and actually a bunch of kids started playing in it. We were like, this is not a good situation.
Yeah, no kids.
So the other thing that was difficult was to anchor, you had to be very far out of town. It probably was at least 2 nautical miles outside of town.
It was really pretty going out there, but it was a long dinghy ride in.
Yes, and the reason is because the marinas take up the whole inner harbor, and then where there are not marinas, they've put mooring balls in. Look at that mooring field.
If we had to do it again, we would anchor out at that place and not even go into town.
Yeah, but the reason we went into town and stopped at Port Jeff was to see Jeremy, a former student of mine.
Jeremy! Oh, he's killer.
We loved getting to see Jeremy. Jeremy was one of my students back when I was in New York City at Automotive High School, and he is just an amazing young man, and we got to spend a few hours with him and bring him out to the boat, which was really, really fun. So things to do in Port Jeff. It is a cute town. It is very small, but it's historic. There are great restaurants, and there is easy access to the LIRR in New York City.
Man, there's some good ice cream too.
Yeah. So for things to do, we gave it a 6 out of 10. For hang time, though, we gave it a 2 out of 10 because it's just the combination of things. It was not where we wanted to be. Yeah. So our overall rating for Port Jefferson was a 3 out of 10.
Hey guys, we're not trying to be negative here. We are trying to make the best use of your time so that you don't waste time. And if you are like-minded with us, skip it. Go to the outside anchorage. It's great, but don't come into town.
To be fair, friends of ours who took a mooring ball had a great time in Port Jeff, went back twice and loved it, went out to dinner, and they had a great time. So this is our opinion. And sorry if you're a Port Jeff person, we just weren't so big on it.
Our opinion, and $2.25 will buy you a Starbucks coffee.
Not even. That'll get you a cup. Not even the coffee.
Right.
Moving on from there, things got much better. We then went off to Sag Harbor. We hit some fog on the way, which was really interesting. Our first time ever being in fog. This morning, it was perfectly clear. And now you can see we are enveloped in some serious fog.
This foggy morning, I met with the most beautiful dragonfly. Check him out. Isn't he lovely? Just a special little gift this morning. It's crazy foggy out. I've got the radar on. It's super smooth. We're just moving along. We're heading to Sag Harbor. I've never been there before. They're really pumped about that. We're gonna hang out with all the Southamptonites.
With radar, we did okay. We did fine, and thankfully the sun came out and burned the fog away. We did encounter the big surf entering Orient Point. That was really interesting to go through that.
Both engines on for that. That was really strong. I remember we had both engines on and we were going like 2.5 knots.
Yeah, I think backwards.
Yeah.
Probably didn't time it well, but you know, it is what it is. We learned a lot. In terms of the cruiser friendliness, we gave this a 10 out of 10. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Free water, pump out, dinghy dock. Even a harbor master came out and registered us because they have had a lot of boats like ours drag and they didn't know how to get in touch. So they took all of our information. Really loved that.
Yeah.
Huge area to anchor. It was wonderful.
Costs you $0 to anchor. take the little dinghy in, and man, you're seeing and doing all the same things that everybody else is doing.
For things to do in Sag Harbor, we rated it a 9 out of 10. We love that town.
We are talking to one of the best ambassadors ever.
What's her name?
of
Phoebe.
Sag Harbor. Phoebe! Phoebe, point the camera on yourself. It's so good.
And Phoebe just gave us a walking tour of Sag Harbor, so that's what we're gonna do.
Sag Harbor was in the Revolutionary War, and it was called Meigs Raid, and it was Sag Harbor got taken over by the British, and they were quartering houses here, and they were taking all the food and supplies. So people from Connecticut sailed over here in old-fashioned ships, and you know, to anchor a ship that big, it was far out, so they rowed all the way to the Sag Harbor in the middle of the night, and they came in and they killed all the British soldiers here. If you look around the brick buildings, there's musket holes in some of them, because some of them did wake up in the middle of the night and start shooting back, but yeah, the people from Connecticut, they all sunk the ships, and that was always my dream, to be a diver and find the ships, but I don't know, it's been a little long, so I don't know if it'll still be here.
They probably rotted away.
Very cool. What a great...
It is really cool.
There's so much history to Sag Harbor.
Yeah, there's a lot of whaling history. It's like a walking museum. It's been preserved really well.
Yeah, they had great restaurants as well. It was beautiful.
Remember
We
that
loved
grocery
it.
store?
The grocery store was fantastic.
Oh god, that place was just like, they had to
bomb.
charge admission just to go in there, and it was packed.
So no, Sag Harbor is not cheap. I know, it is really expensive, and eating out is super expensive. But you have a choice. You don't have to eat out. You can eat on the boat, and we loved it. So
Remember those donuts we had?
Which one did we get?
Got one.
Churros.
The churro with vanilla custard. They're really good. Oh man, look at that.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Oh god, those were so good.
They were really good.
Like crack.
As you can tell, we really loved Sag Harbor. For hang time, we gave it a 9 out of 10. We could have spent more time there, and our overall rating for Sag was 9 out of 10.
You gotta go there.
Gotta go. Moving on from there, we ended up in Montauk, and this is our final destination on the Long Island Sound that we're going to talk about. And we loved it. Probably as much as Sag, maybe even a little bit more. It was very cruiser friendly. It has great protection in there. The cruiser community was super friendly. Many people came by to say hello and ask if we needed anything. There was a great beach where you could leave your dinghy to be able to walk into town or walk to the beach. Everything was in walking distance.
And the beach is one of these just alive beaches. It reminds me of some of the surfer beaches in California, down near San Diego. The ocean is powerful, it's alive, and there's a surfer culture there, and people are like hanging out, and it's just incredibly beautiful for those few months during the summertime.
So many things to do, really so many things to do.
It's really helpful to have a bicycle if you're going to go there too.
And that is where our Dahan bikes were delivered. We are at the post office in Montauk. Look at this. Pretty cool.
Yes. We're trying to lower our carbon footprint. Killer.
And we want to give a huge shout out to the post office. They were so nice and incredibly helpful.
I mean, they may not be able to deliver the mail. We don't know, but they are the nicest people. And they fell all over themselves. I mean, they pulled out the bike pump and helped us put it together and take it out of the box and
take our trash, and they were really wonderful.
They were a huge shout out to the Montauk post office.
Yes. Juan is so nice. He has a compressor that we can fill up our tires with. He offered that to us. You're our hero. Thank you, Isaiah. Thank you, Juan. And in Montauk itself, it's just a cute town right on the beach. Tons of restaurants.
Got a little bit of everything.
The lighthouse is fantastic. There's just great historic things to take a look at.
It's like a surfer hotel there, and the walk along the beach and up on the where the houses fell down into the ocean. They've got these paths. It's fascinating.
And the sand was this purple, this beautiful purple color. I've never seen sand like that before. It was amazing. As you can tell, we really loved it. For things to do, we rated it a 9 out of 10 for Hang time, we also rated it a 9 out of 10 because we just loved it there. It could have spent a lot more time there. And there were marinas too. If you wanted to stay in a marina, that was an option. Obviously, that's not who we are, but we hope that our description of these ports were helpful to you. We hope that it saves you maybe some time or gives you information to start with to be able to do your own research before you go and visit a particular place. And remember, this is our experience based upon our interest, and we know it's not everyone's experience. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you got this far, you are a true star. We really appreciate you and want to say thank you. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Thanks a lot.